Hey guys, this recipe I have been developing since I opened my bakery. It is one of my biggest sellers, but I've been trying to figure out the best way for you guys to make it at home. And yesterday I finally had an epiphany and I tried it out this morning and it worked. So now I can bring you a keto cream cheese Danish recipe. So let's get started. So this recipe developed from my sour cream coffee cake. So it is that recipe, but then I had to figure out how to get the cream cheese and the strudel topping on there without the cream cheese sinking and having like the nice lines, just like Entenmann's cream cheese Danish. I'll put a picture of what I'm talking about if you guys haven't seen it or had it before. It is amazing. It's one of those things that I see it in the store and I'm like, I want that so bad. So I had to figure it out. But then I had to figure out how to make it in a regular oven because it worked in the convection oven the first time I made it. So I'm like, yes, I got a recipe. And then I tried it in the electrical and it just didn't work. So it took me a while to figure it out, but I finally got it. So this recipe is going to start out just like my sour cream coffee cake recipe. I have eggs soaking. It takes probably 20 minutes for it to whip if you don't have warm eggs. With the warm eggs this morning, it took 5 minutes. So we're getting 4 eggs into the mixer along with 3/4 of a cup or 144 grams of Cup Classic Monkfruit Erythritol blend. And we're going to whip that until it's light and fluffy. And as you can see, I have 2 more eggs here. That's going into our cream cheese mixture. I have my 1 cup of sour cream already measured out. I have 1 stick of butter that we need to melt. We're gonna get our pan ready and our dry ingredients measured while this is whipping. The only difference I made here is I added an extra teaspoon of Xanthan Gum. You do need to stop and scrape down at least once. I already have the 45 grams powdered sweetener and 1/8 of a teaspoon of xanthan gum. Our 8 ounces of cream cheese is going to go in here along with 2 eggs. And then I have our crumble topping. So this is golden monk fruit erythritol blend. So yes, you need all 3 for this recipe, but trust me, it is one of the best sellers at the bakery because it is delicious. I always say to have all 3 on hand. Just like you have brown sugar, regular sugar, and powdered sugar in your cupboard, you have all 3 of the alternative sweeteners in your cupboard. See how pale and fluffy it is now? Normally while this is going, I'm getting everything else done, but I don't want to be right next to this, have it super loud while I'm trying to talk to you. So we're going to let that go for a second. I'm going to get my cream cheese mixture done. So you have to have all the elements ready to go for this before we get into the oven. So all 3 things done. I got my powdered sweetener. I've been having this warming up and softening on my dehydrator on low. Comes in handy when you want to get things softened quickly. You can also put it on the top of your stove while you're preheating it. I have mine preheating to 350. I literally just made this, so I have my cream cheese spatula from the last one. I'm gonna beat that together and add 2 eggs and a teaspoon of vanilla. I already whisked the xanthan gum into the powdered sweetener a little bit. Start on low. I can't make the crumble until I finish the batter because I want to just use the same container I melted the butter in. I gotta melt another stick of butter for the crumble. I'm gonna set this aside. I have a piping bag that has a decent sized hole in it to pipe our cream cheese. Now to finish this guy. All the dry ingredients at once. You want that really well combined. I'm gonna melt some more butter. I learned that oat fiber can have different absorption rates, just like coconut flour. And even though I bought the same brand, it looked different. And I figured out you don't need a whole stick of butter for my crumble recipe anymore. So just add until it's a crumble consistency. Don't just dump the whole stick of butter in there. While that's melting, we're gonna get our pan ready. So the biggest thing with this was the fact that the batter came up over the cream cheese. So I was trying to figure out a way for that not to happen. I was cooking it for a little bit, then putting the cream cheese on, but it's just such a pain in the butt. And then I realized I just need a thinner batter, because normally I cook it a double batch in this big pan here. So I was doing a single batch, but in a regular 9x13, which is about this big. So I realized if I do a bigger pan, it'll be a thinner batter and it won't puff up over the cream cheese. And I did it this morning and it worked. So that's what we're doing. You can do a smaller pan. It just might not look as pretty. You might want to bake it for a little bit, then put the cream cheese and crumble on. But I always suggest having a half sheet tray, like in the restaurants. You can fit so many more cookies on this and stuff. We sprayed it. We're lining it with a piece of parchment. Because of that extra xanthan gum, it's gonna be a really thick batter. That's what you want, so it doesn't move too much while you're baking. Pour it all into your pan. Now I cut the big pan into 36. So I'm gonna cut this pan into 18. And it makes it only 1 net carb. Make sure you get all the batter. It's all counted in your macros. Leave any behind. You can use a mini offset spatula for this, but I like my big guy. Spread them out evenly. It's kind of hard to do because it's so thick. It just doesn't even want to move. That's what xanthan gum does. Kind of as big a pain as my brownie batter. And because it's so thick, you can get big bumps and mountains in it you don't want. Make sure it is pretty even in there. Okay, we're gonna call that good, even though it don't look very good to me, but I'm sick of messing with it. Now, our cream cheese mixture. If you want to do this really precise, it's 90-ish grams in 3 different sections. That's leaving a little too precise for me. I'm only gonna put like 2/3 in there at a time. I know I need to get through 2 lines. First go down the middle. That. And then do another like that. So you're gonna cut pieces like this. So into thirds. So you want this to have the same amount here and here, here, here. That's gonna be here. Basically, you're making 3 Entenmann's cream cheese danishes in 1 pan. And yes, this freezes perfectly. Pull it right out of the freezer, defrost it in your fridge or on the countertop, and it is delicious. Stays on the counter for at least a week, being fine, like no problem at all. So 1 more strip right there. Then if you got more, go back, add a little bit more. That. I don't know how blurry that was. It looked like my camera wasn't focusing, of course. Why would it? Okay, we gotta go grab the butter out of the microwave. Here is our crumble. I'm just gonna pour some of this in there. Leave like that much in there. Teaspoon of vanilla. Mix it around until it's like crumble consistency. And then you're gonna add it to each of the bare sections of cream cheese Danish. This used to be a 0 carb crumble when my Oat Fiber said 0 carbs. It said 4 carbs, 4 fiber. Now it says 4 and 1. Not quite 0 carbs anymore, but pretty close. We're gonna bake this at 350, about 26 minutes. So I'm gonna do 12, turn it, another 12, 13. I guess I should do 13 and 13. Do 13. So that was 13 minutes. I'm gonna turn it. I'm only gonna do 11. It's because the last one I took out of the oven once, so it probably stopped the cooking a little bit. and I don't want to overbake it. You can also add a strip of keto raspberry jam. I will link my raspberry jam thumbprint cookies up there. I make this raspberry jam. We put a strip along each cream cheese. You do strawberry, raspberry, blueberry, but this one took 26. But like I said, I pulled it out of the oven to add these 2 layers to it, so it looks super good. Yummy. It's soft and fluffy, but it isn't jiggling anymore or anything. Just super soft and fluffy. So it is all done. 24 minutes. Now we gotta let this cool for a little while before we can slice into it. Looks pretty delicious. Oh, we still have to add the drizzle topping if you noticed in the picture of Entenmann's cream cheese Danish. You need some icing on this guy. It's almost cold to the touch. With this pan, it's 16.5 inches from here to here. So I figured it out in thirds is 5.5 inches we're gonna cut at for here and here. And it is 12 inches this way. So that makes it easy. About 2 inches per slice. We're gonna do 6, 12, 18. I'm gonna start there because that way we know where we're gonna be drizzling. So 5.5 right there, 5.5 right there, and we got 6. So a little bit further over here. See, that's good. Maybe 5 3/4-ish. Kind of hard with the crumble. It kind of just likes to cut where it wants to cut. 5 3/4, and about 5 3/4. This I'm gonna do right in half first. It's almost 12.5 and a quarter. 6 1/4. 2. And a little bit more. 2. I'm not gonna be perfect. Okay, now we got it marked-ish. Go. Each one of these guys is a carb, not too bad. Now onto the icing. I never measure usually, but I weighed out 120 grams, which is about a cup of powdered sugar. I have a feeling that's like really not packed down, just so you know. I'm gonna do half a teaspoon of vanilla, and then I have a half cup here. I'm just gonna add until it is the right consistency. I want it pretty thick, pretty gloopy. So here's a little over a 1/4 cup of, this is coconut milk, unsweetened, so delicious. I just use a disposable piping bag. I usually just throw it out after I use it. Use a Ziploc too. Baby's kicking me. Now it is going to come out relatively fast, so keep it up like this till you're ready to go. Clip off a little bit of the tip. Perfect. So you got to do this kind of quick because it is rather liquidy. Okay, so you can probably get away with the original, I think I did it on the birthday cake donuts. 90 grams and a couple tablespoons of milk. Should be good. It looks so good. I'm gonna let this dry for a little bit and then we can dig into one of these. Okay, the frosting hardens. Not quite hard yet, but I can't wait any longer. It's completely cooled, so. So fluffy. It is such a fluffy cake. You got some cake and the cream cheese sitting right on top. Oh, it looks so good. I can't wait to eat this. eat this delicious guy. I'm gonna move the other ones out of the way. In case I drop a crumb. Super light, fluffy. Cream cheese part. This is the best part. So soft. I haven't had the Entenmann's cream cheese Danish in a long time, probably 4 years or so, but this looks and feels just like one. Like, it's so good. And it's only 1 carb. Super light and fluffy. You can use Boca Sweet as the powdered sweetener for the drizzle. It makes it less cooling. It's good either way. The perfect family breakfast get-together pastry to have on a holiday morning or a birthday morning. Definitely a nice special treat. So good. I hope you guys enjoy this video. I'm so glad I was finally able to figure it out and bring it to you today. It's been a long time coming. You guys try out this recipe. Let me know in the comments below how you liked it. What other breakfast pastries do you want? I know there's a lot that I want still, but maybe you'll mention one I don't have on my list already. Don't forget to check out my Amazon links and the blog link to the full recipe in the description box below. Give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. And as always, I'll be back with many more keto dessert recipes. Bye guys!